All right, we are officially starting chapter 5. And what I'm thinking is at the beginning of every lesson for this chapter, I'm going to show you embarrassing pictures from my childhood. So, before we start lesson 1, which by the way, lesson 1, you need to get to page 345. Lesson 1 is called Integers and Graphing. Here are the embarrassing pictures. Some of them are cute. So these were my birthdays. My mom made me this scrapbook. That's when I turned 1, 2, 3. There's me. 4. Oh, no, that's 3. That's 4. I wore the same dress. Wow. 5. This is where it gets scary, you guys. I guess I didn't have 6. Here's 7. Look at, I got that Barbie house. I was so happy. It's starting to get scary here. Ooh, my kitty shirt. Kitty shirt. There I am. 11 in probably 5th or 6th grade. 13, 14, 17. Wow. So there you have it. Embarrassing pictures. Okay, now to math. So in lesson 1, our learning objective is I can identify positive and negative integers and graph them on a number line. So we have to know what integers are. And we're going to have to be able to identify if something is positive or negative value and then graph it on a number line. So let's look at this real world link. The bar graph shows the amount of money remaining in the clothing budgets of 4 students at the end of 1 month. A value of negative $2 means someone overspent the budget and owes his or her parents $2. So it looks like Jenna and Myron owe money because they are in the negatives here. And it looks like Berto and Elijah still have money left. So this is money left. This is, oh man, I overspent. So what number represents owing $8? Like Myron here, he owes $8. So that would be what? Positive or negative 8? Owing means it's negative 8. Now having $5 left, if you have $5 left up here like Berto, then it's positive. So you still have money. So he owes money, he still has money. Who has the most money left? This one says, who has the most money left? So this is the money left. What is this? Berto with $5? So the most money left is Berto. Now it says who owes the most. So look at, this is negative. Who owes 8? Oh my gosh, Myron. Myron, he has negative 8. So we're looking for these key words like owing would be negative, having money left would be positive. And that's the first thing we'll do here is we'll identify if a number is negative or positive. So that's this side, identifying negative or positive. And then this side, page 347, is going to be to graph sets of numbers that are integers, so negative and positive whole numbers. So let's just remember what integers are. Positive whole numbers, their opposites, and 0 are called integers. To represent data that are less than a 0, you can use negative integers. A negative integer is written with a negative sign. Data that are greater than 0 are represented by positive integers. So less than 0 is negative, and greater than 0 is positive. So look at this. Here's 0. That's an integer. It's not negative or positive. Numbers below 0 to the left here are negative integers. Positive integers are to the right of 0. And this we're going to talk about later. Opposites are numbers that are the same distance from 0, but in opposite directions. So negative 2 and 2 are opposites. So let's write this here about integers. What numbers are integers? What's this neutral number? 0. And then numbers greater than 0 that are whole numbers, right? So what are numbers greater than 0 are called positive. So positive whole numbers. And then negative whole numbers. So we are not talking about fractions or decimals or anything yet. We're just talking about 0, positive whole numbers, and negative whole numbers. All right, let's get down to business. What we're going to be doing here is looking for keywords that show if something's positive or negative. 0. The number 0 can have different meanings based on real-world context. Sometimes 0 represents an amount that does not change. 0 can also be used to represent real-world ideas such as sea level. They're going to talk about what 0 represents here in this part. So it says, write an integer for each situation. Explain the meaning of 0 in each situation. So a 10-yard loss, look at this keyword loss. Loss would show that it is negative, right? So because it's a loss, the integer is negative 10. So a 10-yard loss would be represented with a negative sign, negative 10. In football, the integer 0 represents no yards lost or no yards gained. So let's talk about 4 inches of rain above normal. See that keyword, above normal. Because it represents above, the integer is 4. So it's a positive 4, not a negative. In this situation, 0 represents the normal amount of rain, and this is above normal. $48 deposit into a savings account. So this is a deposit. Now, because it represents an increase, the integer number is going to be 48. It's a positive number. So what does 0 represent here? 0 would be you didn't have a deposit or a withdrawal, right? It's just neutral. So neutral, no withdrawal or deposit. Just a neutral number. So 48 deposited would be a positive number. 48 withdrawn would be a negative number. So let's do this here. Let's just write the integer for each situation. We don't need to explain the meaning of 0. So a gain of $2 a share. Look at this keyword gain. Is it positive or negative? So a gain of $2 would be positive. So the number, the integer, would be 2. No negative sign. What about 10 degrees below 0? What's the key word there? See this below? So 10 degrees below 0 would be negative, right? Less than 0. So the integer would be negative 10. Now we're going to graph these numbers. So over here, let's talk about number lines. It says graph integers. Integers and sets of integers can be graphed on a horizontal or vertical number line. To graph a point on the number line, draw a point on the number line at its location. A set of integers is written using braces, such as right here. These are the braces. They're like parentheses with a little point. 2, -9, and 0. Those would be the set of numbers that you would graph. Now let's talk about horizontal and vertical. So over here, write horizontal number line. And horizontal, I always think it goes like the horizon. The horizon, where the sky meets the land, when you look out, goes this way. So that's horizontal. Let's do vertical number line. So vertical is the opposite. Some people think like vertical blinds. Some people at their windows have blinds that hang like this. Those are vertical blinds. They go like this. So vertical number line. Okay, now I want to talk about a little tip here about which way negative goes on a horizontal line and which way negative goes on a vertical line. Same with positive. So let's look at the examples. It says graph -7 on a number line. Well, this is a horizontal number line, and the negative numbers are to the left. So there's -7. This one, graph the set of integers -4, 2, and -1 on a number line. So again, the negative numbers are to the left of 0. So here's -4, here's -1, and here's 2, the positive numbers to the right. Now look here on a vertical number line, graph the integers 0, 2, and -3. So 0 is neutral in the middle. You have 2 is up on a vertical number line, and the negative numbers are down on a vertical number line. So you have this little tip right here that you got to remember. Okay, positive integers are, let's think, on a horizontal number line, they're to the right, positives to the right. In vertical, they're up. So positive integers are graphed to the right or up above 0. So to the right or above 0. That's positive integers. They're to the right or above 0. Negative integers so they would be to the left of 0 or down below 0. Are graphed to the left or down below 0. So negative are to the left or below 0. Positive are to the right or above 0. Okay, let's do this. So let's, oh wow, look at, they made it easy for us because they already put the numbers on the line. So these examples are really easy. -3, 0, -2, and 4. So there's your -3, 0, -2, and 4. So this was easy because the numbers are already placed for us. When we do the guided practice, the numbers aren't all going to be there. So you have to make sure you put 0 in the middle here, and the negatives go below or to the left, the positive integers go above or to the right. So we're graphing 8, -6, -9, so between 8 and 10, and 5 would be between 4 and 6. So this is 5, this is -9. All right, let's look at the story problem. Elena and her dad played golf on 4 different days. The data set, -1, +1, -3, +2, shows Elena's scores in relation to par. So she was below par or above par. Graph the scores, explain the meaning of 0 in this situation. So 0 represents par, right? If you've ever golfed, 0 means you got exactly what they thought you should get on that hole. So when she got negative, she was under par. Positive was above par. So there's -1, +1, -3, +2. All right. We are now moving into the guided practice 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You need to make sure you're doing this with a partner. You want to be talking this out. You don't want to just watch the video and copy what it says. You want to work the problem out with the partner and then go back and check it and see what you guys did wrong or wow, yay, we got it right. So in this first part, we're writing an integer for each situation, explaining the meaning of 0. Don't worry about explaining the meaning of 0. Just write, maybe, how about this? Circle the key word that shows if it's positive or negative. So 15-yard gain, loss of 2 hours. Circle the key words. I'm looking at a gain here and a loss here. So a gain would be a positive integer and a loss would be a negative integer. Okay, graph each integer or set of integers on a number line. So you have to label the number line. Go ahead and label the number line and graph them. All right, so I'm going to put 0 in the middle here. And negative integers go to the left. Positive integers go to the right. And we're looking for -2. There we go. Same with this. I'm going to put 0 in the middle. -1, -2 to the left. +1 and 2 to the right. we're graphing -1, +1, and 0. All right. Oh, Tanner's coming down to check on us. Almost, Tanner. I've got to finish the guided and independent practice. Then it'll be time. He wants to go to basketball. Okay. The data set 5, 0, -15, and 20 show the number of points Delaney scored on each hand of a card game. Graph the scores. Explain the meaning of 0 in this situation. So 0 is going to be she was even, and positive, she had more cards. Negative, she had less points. I guess not cards, but points. Negative points. Let's put 0 in the middle, and we need to go up to 20. So what should we do? 5, 10, 15, 20? Now, to the right is positive. To the left is negative. Okay, so 0, +5, -15 points, and +20 points. Cool. So graph the scores. 0 equals no gain or loss, or loss of points. So she was even. So cool. That was the guided practice. Now take a look at what you need to do for the independent practice, 1 through 6, and then number 8. So let's circle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and down here 8. You don't need to do 7. So listen, you can stay by your partner for this to check in, but try doing this on your own. So same thing that we did before here. You're saying, you know what, instead of explaining the meaning, you can circle the key word. So the word that shows positive or negative. Then you have to number the number lines. Look, they didn't give you any vertical number lines to do. You'll have one in the reflection though. And you're graphing the sets of data. Don't worry about explaining the meaning of 0. So this is showing a change in number of state representatives for 4 states after the last census. Graph the change in number of representatives. And here you're using the numbers on this table. They show the number of points earned for each action in a video game. So for doing all this stuff in a video game, you earn or you lose points. Kevin fell in water, jumped over a rock, touched a cactus, and climbed a mountain. Those are the 4 that you need to graph. All right, go ahead and then check your answers with the video. All right, let's check our answers on the independent practice. 3 miles below sea level makes it a -3. Earning money would make it +45. Moving back 5 spaces would be -5 spaces. Graphing the integers. Your numbers might be a little bit different than mine in terms of where you put them on the number line, but you should have a point at -5 to the left of 0. And then here, you should have a point at 2, -3, right on 0, and then +1. Check number 6. So I have 0 right here. The 2 negative numbers were -1 and -2, and the positive number was 4. And then down here, these were the 4 pieces of data that we had to put on a number line. So I put 0 in the middle. The negative ones were -15 and -10, and the positive integers were 5 and 10. All right, your next step is the reflection. All right, for the reflection, the learning objective is I can identify positive and negative integers and graph them on a number line. So the first part is identifying, and then the second part is graphing. And there will be a horizontal and a vertical number line. So to identify if an integer is positive or negative, I look for keywords that show meaning. Circle the words below that represent a negative integer. So earn, gain, deposit, below, loss, moved back. And then here's how I write the integer for the following situations. Earn $25, deposit $300, loss of 5 yards, gain 7 inches, 13 degrees below 0, and moved back 3 spaces. Number 2, when graphing integers, positive integers are to the what? Left or right, or above or below 0. Negative integers are to the left or right, or above or below 0. And here's how I graph a set of numbers on a horizontal and vertical number line. So -4, 1, and 3, show those numbers on a horizontal number line and on a vertical number line. And make sure you label 0 and all that good stuff too. Okay, lesson 1 is done.